All right, we are live. Welcome to another episode of the New York Double Play podcast, hosted by me, James Nolan. We got a lot to get into today. The Mets have fallen down to earth. The Yankees struggles early on in the year. Actually, before the year even started, the need for a third baseman was talked about when Garrett Cole went down. The need for a right-handed starter was obviously glaring, especially with Louis Heel also out for at least the first 6 months of the season. So we had a lot to get into. We had a lot to get into. Yankees and of course the Mets, who are now 4-6 in their last 10 games. Like I just said, they have fallen back down to earth. And I'm not concerned. I'm not worried. The bats, in fact, have been better than what they have been to start the year. Because to start the year in the month of April, and early on, obviously in late March, the pitching was fantastic. The pitching was what got us to 22 wins so quickly. But now, as of late, it's been the complete opposite. The bullpen is starting to kind of fall apart. Injuries to that bullpen as well have halted the Mets. I mean, losing AJ Minter, that's a huge piece that they're going to be missing potentially the entire year now if he does get surgery. And even if he doesn't get surgery, he won't be back until September. So the loss of AJ Minter is showing. There was a few moves early on in the week, like on Monday and Tuesday, where it was kind of head scratching Carlos Mendoza's bullpen decisions. For example, that Brandon Waddle taking him out early on in the game after 4.1 innings. He was only allowing 3 hits, just got a strikeout to start that inning too. So it was really confusing to see him come out of the game. But we're getting to Mendoza's, weird decisions as of late. But you can't really put too much on Carlos Mendoza. You can't also put too much on the pitching because as great as the bats have been as of late, they scored 20 runs just last week, right? They had the 9-3 victory the other day. The Mets bats are going even, late in today's games, they put up a late fight. They scored 2 runs in that eighth inning, but overall with runners in scoring position, the Mets are just not getting it done. They're not getting that big hit. They're sometimes getting the big hit, but it's just not enough. Like there's too many times where the Mets have bases loaded and nothing happens. Nothing happens. So my takeaway from this rough week is the Mets need to hit with runners in scoring position. Because as bad as the pitching was this week, I mean, Blade Tidwell, he had a forgettable debut, going 3.2 innings, 9 hits allowed, 6 earned runs allowed, only 2 strikeouts. And this guy was supposedly a strikeout machine. At least he was in the minor leagues. 3 walks and obviously gave up that home run. So Blade Tidwell, definitely a forgettable performance. We're going to see him again eventually at some point this year, but there's no doubt about it. He's getting sent down. And, I wrote an article on Fansided just right when they made that decision to promote him to the MLB level, where it's like, okay, this is the one guy I feel like that might be able to crack the not the everyday rotation, the full-time starting rotation, because he is young. He's 24 years old. The Mets hold him in high regard. He has very great stuff. He has 5 different pitches. He reaches 96 to 97 on his fastball. He's got a good curveball, a good changeup. So it felt like with Blade Tidwell, if he pitched good, if he had a good debut, maybe it's a small percent chance, but maybe the Mets would say, you know what, let's keep him up as that 6th starter so we don't have to keep calling guys up and down, up and down. But forgettable debut, he's going to go right back down. Nothing else to expect. So yeah, Tidwell will go down. Daniel Nunez will likely be up. He is ready, which is nice. The bullpen really does need him. And in the International League in the AAA, where the Syracuse Mets play, it's a tough league to play in. Like we saw it even with Blade Tidwell's AAA ERA. It was in the 5s. And that's not a bad ERA in that league because it's a very run scoring. They just score so many runs in that league for some reason. Daniel Nunez pitched to a sub 3.3 ERA. So some good stuff in AAA from Daniel Nunez. He started off pretty rough and he got going a little bit as the month progressed. So kind of pumped to see Daniel Nunez back in this bullpen. They really do need him because, I mean, Ryan Stanek, he had a good outing today. I got to give it to him. Stanek, he had a rough beginning of the week. Obviously a blown save on Monday and Wednesday too, specifically Wednesday. He was terrible. But today he had a clean inning, 1 inning work, only allowed 1 hit, only 1 strikeout. But, even Ryan Stanek and the blow-ups that he had, just going back to his game log right now, against St. Louis on May 2nd, he had a clean game. And then obviously today he had the clean game as well. In there, when he played Arizona on Wednesday night, 3 hits, and they weren't really hit hard. So, and I don't really like him using excuses like that. Mendy, I'm okay with using excuses because you want to back your guys up. But Ryan Stanek said after the game, like, hey, man, those are good pitches. They just put the bat in the ball and people weren't there. And that's true. That is true. But I just don't want you saying that. So that kind of irked me the wrong way. But overall, Stanek has done well. He had 3 bad games in a row. But outside of those 3 bad games, Ryan Stanek has been money. So I still kind of have him in my circle of trust. I do have Ryan Stanek in my circle of trust. Edwin Diaz, I mean, really, you look at Edwin Diaz, his ERA on the year is up to over a 4. He's got a 4.15 ERA. But at the same time, he's only allowed a run in 3 games. 3 games this year. So I'm not worried about Edwin Diaz. He's only given up 6 earned runs on the year. So still early. That ERA is going to climb down as long as he has performances like he has as of late. He went 1.1 innings against the Phillies on April 23rd. Took a 3-day break. Last pitched April 26th before he came in today. But today, he didn't walk anybody. He let up 2 hits, but he didn't walk anybody. And when he limits to walks, that's when he does good because he can get hit. But he's a strikeout guy. He can get double plays with the ground ball. So Edwin Diaz, I'm not worried about either as well. He's still in my circle of trust. Max Kranick, it sucks. Whenever Max Kranick lets up a run, I kind of feel down because I'm really pulling for Max Kranick, but as of late, he has been struggling, but overall in the year, he's been doing great. In his last 2 appearances, he's let up 2 earned runs now. He let up a home run against Arizona on May 1st, so that wasn't fun. But I mean, so far, he's been money. He's got a 2.95 ERA right now. Struggles as of late, but I still trust Max Kranick. I trust him as well. Reed Garrett, I mean, Reed Garrett, he proved he was human. He did prove he was human. He let up his first earned run of the year just a few games ago against Arizona, unfortunately, in that second inning of work. And that was also a head scratcher because on Tuesday, Mendy didn't want to bring him in when we were down just 1 run. But then on Wednesday, we're down 1 run and just you bring him in. So he kind of contradicted himself there. But Reed Garrett's been great. So in my opinion, Mets still have 4 trustworthy relievers in Stanek, Kranick, Garrett, and Edwin Diaz. But the loss of AJ Minter, I mean, I can't put it into words how bad it could affect this bullpen because now it's really 4 guys. Brazoban I do trust as well. So now the tax in the bullpen, it just, you can still do it. You can still get away with it, but the starters need to go deeper into these games because I think that's also why the Mets bullpen started to crack a little bit as of late. Because now you lose AJ Minter, and he's really like one of the best bullpen guys in this league. So it sucks. It sucks. And then obviously Jesse Winker goes down with an injury today. He's likely going to be in the IL with a strained oblique. Probably tomorrow they'll make that announcement that he'll hit the IL. So I want to touch on Jesse Winker before I get into Pete Alonso because Pete Alonso's been going off, and I'm hearing a lot of extension talks. A lot of Mets fans are bringing up, should we extend him in midseason? So we'll talk about that in a little bit. But Jesse Winker is going to hit the IL. So the Mets are going to have a tough decision to make. Who are they going to call up? I'd like to see Drew Gilbert. I think Drew Gilbert is ready for the show. He had a great performance in Single A during his rehab assignment, and he's back in Triple A, and he's absolutely raking. I mean, there's nothing more to love about Drew Gilbert right now. And I think he's the guy. And I know there's concerns about, well, if you call him up, Winker's obviously a DH. Are you going to DH Gilbert? No, you don't. You DH Brandon Nimmo. That's what I would do. Because one, Brandon Nimmo in left field, he's clunky out there. He's clunky right now. He's coming off of the injury, obviously, with his leg. But I think having Drew Gilbert in left field, Tyrone Taylor in center field, and then Soto in right. I mean, Soto's obviously not a Gold Glove defender, but you'd have really good defenders in center field and left field. And then, Luis Acuna, we saw today he can play third base, he can play second base, so that's huge. I don't want to stick Acuna in the outfield at all. I want to keep him as that utility infielder, mainly the second baseman. I could see even Jeff McNeil getting some starts in left field now and having Nimmo DH a little bit more because Acuna's bat he's been really good. NL Rookie of the Month in April. He's hitting over 300 right now. He went 3 for 4 in one of the games today. So kind of got, shafted with some called strikes today in one of those games. So I like Acuna. I just don't want him in center field yet. Maybe eventually later on, this year, if he gets some reps out there and practice and stuff like that. But the Mets clearly don't want to put him in center field, or else we would have seen him in center already. But I think Drew Gilbert's the guy. Drew Gilbert is the guy. You look at his numbers in AAA right now. He's hitting 375, has a 444 on base percentage, 1.153 OPS. He has 6 RBIs and 2 home runs in just 6 games. And then, that's 13 games, actually. 13 games he's hitting. That was his single A numbers. That's my bad. His AAA numbers right now in 13 games, he's got an 851 OPS, 426 on base, 275 batting average, 6 RBIs, and 1 home run. Overall on the year between both leagues, he's hitting 313 with a 963 OPS, 12 RBIs in 19 games played. So, and this is a guy who really needed to get a red hot start in the minor leagues this year, because last year it sucked for him. He dealt with a lot of injuries. He was one of the Mets' top prospects when we traded for him. We got him in that Justin Verlander trade from Houston, and him and Ryan Clifford. But last year, overall, across 3 different in AAA last year specifically, it was terrible. AAA was terrible, but he bounced around last year. Last year, he hit 205 across 3 different leagues, had a 685 OPS in only 62 games played. So he did bounce back, and that's huge because Gilbert has a lot of potential. He's got a lot of potential. He could be a 5-tool player. He's a great defender. He's got a lot of speed. He gets on base. He can hit. He's got pop in his bat. So I'd like to see Drew Gilbert get that opportunity when Jesse Winker hits the IL. Like I said, I know the DH concerns. You don't want to DH a young player like him, but at the same time, we have Brandon Nimmo, who I think should be the DH. And Starlin Marte also exited the game. So the Mets might have 2 open spots now, so they might need to call Brett Baty back up. I'm not sure if they actually can right now. He's been out of the AAA games the past few days, so keep an eye on Brett Baty. But some people are saying we might be trading him. Some people are saying, maybe they're just giving him some rest days because he needs a few days off. Who knows? Maybe it's an injury. Who knows? Hopefully not an injury. Hopefully we're not trading him, because I still have a little bit of faith left in Brett Baty. I still do. Before he got sent down, he was really starting to click. And then when he gets sent down, I was kind of shocked. Jose Azocar doesn't have any minor league options, but, I think he could pass through waivers. So that's where I was kind of confused. Like, why are we sending Baty down after Baty was starting to click? But nevertheless, he's down there. So he's an option if Marte and Winker both go on the IL as well. But we'll see what happens. But Mets, overall, 4-6 in their last 10 games. Not fun, but let's talk about some positives over this past week. A positive, number 1, is obviously Pete Alonso. Pete Alonso is raking. Like, this is the best start. This is the best stretch he's ever had in his entire career. So, like, there's no more, like, he still has something to prove. Like, there's players like Juan Soto, Lindor. They don't really have anything left to prove. We know who they are. But Pete Alonso, even though we know who he is, he still has something to prove after the year he had last year. Today, he went 1 for 4 in Game 2. In Game 1 of this doubleheader, he also got 2 base knocks as well. So Pete had a great day at the plate today. Again, multiple doubles in that first game. So Pete's still swinging a hot bat. Now, before we get into the extension talks, I want to talk about, can Pete Alonso keep up this pace? Because he's hitting 344 right now. He's got a 468 on base percentage, a 656 slugging percentage. He's second in MLB and OPS, only behind Aaron Judge. He's got how many RBIs on the year now? He's got 8 home runs. 8 home runs. He had an RBI in Game 2. And in Game 1, how many RBIs did he have? He had no RBIs. So he got 31 RBIs on the year. Very respectable. Top 5 in RBIs, top 2 in OPS. Home runs, he's not top 5 in, but we all know he's going to finish the year in top 5 on home runs. He's just that type of hitter. But I want to talk about his batting average and his on base percentage because he's striking out a lot less. He's walking a lot more. So I could see the batting average drop by the end of the year. Maybe he hits 300 plus. I think it would be hard to do for Pete. But at the same time, at this rate, I don't think he's going to hit 340 plus the whole entire year. But, 300 plus is something we got to start talking about with Pete Alonso because it is May 5th and he's hitting well over 300. And the on base percentage, I think it could be over 400 this year with the amount he's walking. He's walking more than he's ever done before. He's not swinging at that outside breaking ball stuff, like whether it's a curveball or a slider. He's not punching at that. He's not falling for that anymore. His pitch selection has improved vastly this year. So Pete Alonso is a completely different player. He's still got his power, obviously, but with 2 strike counts, he's getting the job done. He's just spraying the ball over. He's going opposite field to something he did in 2022. He fell away from it in 23 and 24, where he was getting very pull happy. And now he's back to almost his old ways like he was in 2022 and even 2019, where he wasn't afraid to go opposite field. So Pete Alonso, you got to give him a lot of credit. He's the reason we have this many wins right now. He's the reason we're 3 games up on the Philadelphia Phillies right now in the NL East. But they're right behind us, 3 games back, and they're going to inch closer and closer if the Mets keep this run up, but hopefully they can break out of it. And let's talk about Pete Alonso extension. Then we'll get into another positive because another positive is Juan Soto. He's starting to swing the bat very well. Pete Alonso extension, I don't think they're going to extend him mid-season. I could be dead wrong. It could happen. Who knows? Especially if he keeps it up and it's like June and these numbers are still looking like the numbers he has right now. Then it would be a no-brainer, in my opinion. Don't even let him hit free agency. But at the same time, I could see the Mets letting him hit free agency. I don't think they're necessarily just let him walk away in the offseason. But especially if he has this type of year, because right now he's the MVP favorite. If the season ended today, I know it's early. It's May 5th right now. Happy Cinco de Mayo. But it's if he ended the year right now, Pete Alonso would be the MVP. He would be the MVP. So the NL Player of the Month in April. In the offseason, I think they got to get the job done. There's no way you can let him walk because him hidden behind Juan Soto, I think, is the reason he's doing so good right now also. So they got to get the job done somehow, make him a Met for life because I want his bat behind Juan Soto at least for another 3 to 5 years. At least another 3 to 5 years. Because imagine we didn't re-sign Pete Alonso this offseason. Then we'd have Mark Vientos at first base. We'd have Brett Beatty at third base. Probably Acuna now. But it wouldn't be fun. We wouldn't be 3 games up on the Philadelphia Phillies in the NL East without Pete Alonso this year. That's for sure. So, and when you look at the first base market this year, it's really Murakami. And the best first baseman is either him or Pete Alonso. I could see Murakami getting more money because he is going to be 25 years old when he posts this offseason. But proven guy, it's Pete Alonso. It's Pete Alonso, and he's only going to be 31 next year. So I would get the job done if I'm the Mets. I would do like a 5-year, $125 million. I think that could get the job done. Let's talk about Juan Soto. That's another positive. Juan Soto brought his batting average up a lot as of late. He's hitting 258 right now. He's hitting 262 at some point during these 2 games. But today he went 1 for 4 in game 1. So that was nice to see. It was very nice to see him. And he got the rally started the other day as well, hitting the double when Pete Alonso homered. And then he went 1 for 5 in game 2. So right now he's hitting actually 256. Juan Soto's hitting 256. But if you take a look at his numbers, on April 22nd, when we played the Phillies, he was hitting 233. Since then, he's on a one. You look at his numbers in May. His numbers in May are great. Right now, he went 2 for 3 on May 1st against Arizona with 2 home runs, 2 for 5 against St. Louis on May 2nd. May 3rd obviously got postponed. So he's gotten a hit in every game in May so far. 1 for 4 today, 1 for 5 today in the doubleheader. And then even before then, at the end of April, he was starting to swing the bat well. You look at this series against Washington. He went 2 for 3 in game 2. He went 2 for 4 in game. 2 for 4 in game 3. And then in the first game of that series, he went 2 for 4. So he's swinging a hot bat. He's been swinging a hot bat since that Washington series. So I've said it before. I was never concerned about Juan Soto, but now I think Juan Soto is really starting to click. I think we're going to get the Juan Soto, and we need him right now. We need Juan Soto to really click right now because with the way the bullpen has looked, the starters, specifically Tyler McGill today, he showed that he's human. He is human. One bad start. I'm not worried about Tyler McGill. It is kind of funny that he's always dominating in April. And then once May hits, he kind of falls off the map, and it sucked that his first start in May, he fell off. But I'm not worried about Tyler McGill. I think he can bounce back in his next out, and I'm hoping he does. But it would be perfect if Juan Soto, if this is him starting to break out. Because if he starts to break out, then the Mets will break out of this rut. No doubt about it. He's the guy that can carry this offense. We know Pete Alonso can carry an offense, but how much longer? Juan Soto can legitimately carry an offense for a 162-game season. He can do that. He did it with the Nationals in 2019. He did it with the Padres when all those guys were out a few years ago. So with Juan Soto starting to click and the Mets in a rut, I think they're going to snap out of it, especially, like I said, if Soto does really start to click now, which he has been. He has been. Let's take a look at Juan Soto's numbers since that Washington series. So really since, I think it was like April 22nd we played him. I think I want to say it was April 22nd. I'm just going to make sure when I get these numbers up that we played Washington on April 22nd. April 25th. So we'll go since April 25th. All right. Let's get these numbers. Juan Soto's stats since April 25th. Soto's hitting 308. He's hitting 308. He's scored 9 times. By the way, Juan Soto's top 10 in runs. So anybody who's like, oh, he doesn't have RBIs, he's scoring a lot of runs. He's in the 2-hole. He's in the 2-hole. So unless Lindor gets on and he hits a home run, he's not going to be getting a ton of RBIs. He'll still end the year probably with 100 plus. But let's give the guy a break with the RBIs right now. He's still top 10 in runs scored. He set up a lot of good rallies for the Mets as of late. So I'm not worried about that. But yeah, I mean, hitting 308 since April 25th now. And then an OPS of 938 since April 25th. So since that Washington series, something has clicked. The multi-home run game on Friday, or on Thursday, I should say, was. But Soto's starting to click, and it's going to be at the perfect time because the Mets are in a rut right now. They need him. Positive number 2 is Clay Holmes. That's what I took away from this series. I mean, Clay Holmes, I think he had his best outing. Like, his one outing before was very good, but this outing he went 6 innings, getting 6 innings out of Clay Holmes. That was huge. The bullpen really needed that break. He let up 8 hits, but he battled through it. He had no walks. So that's what I specifically liked. He's a guy who's been walking a lot of batters in his starts. So far this year, he has 13 walks in 36.2 innings pitched. So that's pretty large chunk of walks. 39 Ks in those 36.2 innings. He's now lowered his ERA to a 2.95. And the reason I want to talk about Clay Holmes is, I mean, he's been a bargain. That was a huge offseason signing. I know Keith from Shea and Shuns, he was big on Clay Holmes, transitioned into a starter even before it was even brought up. And then once it was like, oh, Mets are interested in Clay Holmes going into as a starter, and then you take a deep dive into his numbers, where he was the best ground ball pitcher in the MLB over the past 2 years. He is a guy who can strike a lot of batters out. He's a guy who was a high leverage reliever. So if he gets into a jam, you can kind of trust him to work out of that jam. And even last year, he had a 3.14 ERA. And as a closer, you let up 1 run, it sucks. But as a starter, you let up 1 run in an inning, you have another 5-6 innings to go out there and attack. So I think it was a great move by David Stearns and the Mets. And Clay Holmes has been everything that we could have asked for and more. I mean, a 2.95 ERA through his first 7 starts. If you told me that at the beginning of the year, I would have said, hell yeah, I'll take that. I'll definitely take that. He's pitching like a front-end starter. He is pitching like a front-end starter. He's a guy that a lot of fans now, every time Clay Holmes takes the ball, it's like, wow, we can trust this guy. We can trust this guy. I mean, you look at his numbers overall in the year. I mean, he only let up more than 3 runs once. He's only let up more than 2 runs twice. Going back to his first game of the year against Houston, he let up 2 earned runs across 4.2 innings, and then 1 earned run against 4.2 innings against Miami, 5.1 innings against Miami again. let up the 4 earned runs, but still 5.1 innings. And even that start, he struck out 10 guys, and it was in the last inning. It was in that 6th inning where he let up those 4 runs. Against Minnesota, he was great. 5 innings, only 2 hits allowed, 1 earned run, 8 strikeouts, 6 strikeouts against St. Louis, 4 hits allowed in those 6 innings, only 1 earned run. Washington dominated them. It got 2 rain delays too. He still gave us 5 innings of work, 4 hits allowed, only 2 strikeouts, but still giving us 5 innings when you have to stop pitching twice in a game. That was huge. And then obviously May 2nd, just this past Friday, he goes out there and gives us 6 innings. Only eight hits is a lot, but only 3 earned runs on those 8 hits. No walks, 3 strikeouts. So Clay Holmes has been doing well. He's been doing really well. So starters, even outside of Tyler McGill and Blade Tidwell today, starters have been great. So you got to love what they're doing. Griffin Cannon, I mean, continuing to just surprise everybody. Like, if you would have told me Griffin Cannon was going to be not this good, but he's been pitching really good, actually. 6 games, 2.61 ERA, 4-1 on the year now, too, as well. Like Clay Holmes, like the starters, I'm not worried about the starters. The only thing I can ask for the starters to do, go deeper into some games, and that would be huge. But it's really just the bullpen. It's the bullpen and hitting with runners in scoring position. And then, like I said, if Juan Soto starts to break out of this rut, the Mets are going to be fine. The Mets are going to be just fine. The only thing that does suck is our schedule is going to start to heat up a little bit. We're playing some better teams now. I'm not worried about, the Mets only beat up on bad teams because, we swept the Cardinals in a 4-game series. So overall against the Cardinals this year, we're 5-2 against them. Like, we're 5-2 against the Cardinals. We swept the Philadelphia Phillies. We swept the Toronto Blue Jays. Like, the Mets can play good teams. And then the test is tomorrow. Tonight, I should say. We got 2 late games in Arizona, 9:40 and Monday and Tuesday, and then a 3:40 game on Wednesday. So it'll be a good test to kind of shut those haters up. If we could take 2 out of 3 against Arizona, that would be huge. Then we take Chicago and Pittsburgh on at home. We'd have Chicago for a 3-game set starting this Friday. And then next Monday, we got Pittsburgh for a 3-game set. Pittsburgh, we should be able to beat up on them. They're only 12-23 this year. The Cubs are going to be a challenge. They're 21-4, first in the National League Central. And then the Yankees. That would be nice if we can get hot heading into that Subway Series and we could just demolish the Yankees so we could shut guys like John from Maspeth up. That would be fun. But yeah, you look at these next few series. Diamondbacks, Cubs, those are 2 good teams. Pirates, not so much. But Yankees, a good team. Red Sox, a good team. Dodgers, a good team. The White Sox, thank God we got the White Sox after we played the Dodgers. That's huge. We got the White Sox and then the Rockies, and then we have the Dodgers again, and then the Rockies, and then the Nationals, and then the Rays, and then the Braves. We're not playing them until June, which is odd, but really, we're going up against some good teams. But then hopefully, even if we can take 2 out of 3, and let's say we only take 1 out of 3 in one of those series against the Cubs, Diamondbacks, Yankees, or Dodgers. We got to do some damage against the teams like the White Sox and the Rockies, because if you're a good team, you beat up on bad teams. I hate that narrative. Oh, well, they're a bad team. Yeah, what do you want them to do? So Mets, I'm not worried. Like, we're still first place in the division right now. 3 games up. Pete Alonso's still raking. Juan Soto's starting to break out of his rut. And if that happens, the Mets will really start to click. Lindor's been swinging a good bat. Struggled today at some points, but overall Lindor's been having a very good year. So you can't really say anything bad about Francisco Lindor. You look at his numbers overall in the year right now, the home run numbers are there. Right now he's hitting 290 with a 357 on base, 457 slug. So he's doing great. 6 home runs on the year, over 15 RBIs. He's having a good year. So really, once Soto clicks, we're going to have not the best big 3 in baseball, but you know what I mean. We're going to have one of the best big 3s in baseball, and that's going to be huge. Mark Vientos, it sucks because he's actually been playing very well as of late. He went 2 for 4 in that final game today. He brought his numbers up pretty significantly over the past few weeks. He's hitting 218, but we got to keep in mind that just about, like I said, I go back to this Washington series, but you look at his numbers against Washington, that first game, he was hitting 190 after that game, hitting 190. And then since then, he's brought his batting average back up to 218. So that's huge for him. If we can get Vientos to really start swinging the bat pretty well, that'd be huge. Brandon Nimmo, he's starting to swing the bat pretty well actually too. He did there's a lot of men left on base though. A lot of men left on base today from this Mets team. We left 10 men on base today. 23 left on base actually in that second game against the Cardinals. 23 left on base. That's tough. You get 10 hits and you leave 23 men on base. Not fun. Not freaking fun at all. But Brandon Nimmo, he's starting to heat up a little bit. He's got his batting average up to 220 now. And like I said, I keep going back to that Washington series, but in Washington, he was terrible. Right before we played Washington, he was in 196. 196. But he has 7 home runs on the year, over 23 RBIs now. So a lot to like with Nimmo swinging the bat as of late. But then again, I think him getting a few DH days, call up Drew Gilbert, I think that could take a lot of weight off his shoulders and just let him focus on hitting. Let him focus on freaking hitting, man. But yeah, really, that's it with the Mets. Just obviously not a lot of stuff to like over these past 10 games, 4-6, but I have confidence in them going out there and rebounding against Arizona because, like I said, I know we lost 2 out of 3 to St. Louis, but we're 5-2 against them on the year. We swept the Toronto Blue Jays, we swept the Philadelphia Phillies, and we took 1 out of 3 only against Arizona. But now it's our turn to take 2 out of 3. It's our turn. So let's go do that. Let the Mets go do that tomorrow. The Knicks will also play at 7, so it's kind of perfect that they play at 9:40. It is perfect. But tomorrow we're facing Ryan Nelson. He'll be facing Griffin Cannon. So we got Cannon on the bump, who's been having a great year, 4-1, 2.61 ERA on the year. And we'll face Ryan Nelson, who's making his first start of the year. He's pitched in 7 games out of the pen. He's 1-0 across 17 innings with 5.82 ERA. He's let up 11 earned runs in those 17 innings, only 20 strikeouts, 1.18 whip, which is odd. That's a decent whip, but the ERA is terrible. He walks a lot of guys, so we'll see what he can do. He actually pitched against the Mets in this past series. He went 4 innings. He struck out 3 of our guys, only walked 2 of our guys, and didn't allow a hit. But then again, this is a guy who hasn't really had a great track record. Last year, in 28 games, he had a 4.24 ERA. He let up 17 home runs in those 28 games. 29 games in 23, he let up 24 home runs. So we got to put the bat in the ball. That's what we got to do against Ryan Nelson, and we got to capitalize with runners in scoring position. We can win that game. Take a look at game 2. Game 2, another late game. We have David Peterson going up against Zach Gallen. Zach Gallen, who pitched stellar his last time against the Mets. He went 6 innings, only allowed 2 hits, let up 1 home run, had 8 strikeouts that game. So that was not fun when we last faced Zach Gallen. But it's going to be a challenge because he is one of the best pitchers in the league. His ERA doesn't show it. He's got a 4.93 ERA right now, but last year he had the 3.65, and 23, 3.47. 2022, he had a 2.54. So Zach Gallen is hittable. He is hittable, but they got to capitalize on that. I'll give him a pass. I'll give him a pass on that game if they lose because Zach Gallen is Zach Gallen. And then game 3, I do like that pitching matchup. Kodai Senga against Merrill Kelly. Merrill Kelly's coming off a hamstring injury as well. He's got a little bit of a flared hamstring. He's been on and off this year. He's got a 4.06 ERA. He last pitched against Philadelphia, and he only let up 4 hits across 5 innings and 1 earned run. So his really is he had 1 bad start against the Yankees, and since then he's been money. I mean, he pitched against Baltimore on the 8th of April, only allowed 2 earned runs on 6 hits on 2 earned runs on 3 hits across 6 innings. 6 innings against Miami on April 15th, 3 hits, 1 earned run. Chicago, 5.2 innings, 2 hits allowed, 1 earned run. Against Atlanta, 6 innings, 2 earned runs, only allowed 4 hits. And like I said, against Philly, only 4 hits across 5 innings and 1 earned run. So we're going to be facing 2 very good pitchers in this series against Arizona. But then again, we got 3 guys that I trust. I trust Griffin Cannon. And luckily, Griffin Cannon is going to be going up against their worst pitcher in this series. So if we could take that game. David Peterson on the bump in game 2 against Zach Gallen. That's going to be a toss-up. And then Merrill Kelly, who has been pitching great as of late, but I do like Kodai Senga. I think Kodai Senga needs a bounce-back start. And Senga's been great this year. I mean, he was sick a little bit the other day, so that was his excuse for only going 4 innings. But I mean, in those 4 innings, he only allowed 1 earned run, had 6 strikeouts in those 4 innings. So the strikeout rate is still there from what it was in 2023. But the 1.38 ERA on the year, he's 3-2, 12 walks. That's not too fun, but I mean, if he limits those walks, we all know what Kodai Senga can do. So hopefully, take 2 out of 3 and let's get that job done. Let's get back on track. Hopefully Juan Soto really clicks now too. All right, let's talk about the Yankees. We got some exciting Yankees news for prospects. Their top prospect, George Lombard Jr., is going to be playing in the AA now. And this is interesting to me because he's 19 years old. Nobody really expected him to be in AA early May. I could see AA by the end of the year, but AA right now, that just tells you how much they might want to use him later on in the year at the MLB level. And at 19 years old, it's very rare for guys like this to jump up to the majors. But Anthony Volpe had a little bit of an impinged shoulder on a little diving play. Looked ugly. A lot of people thought he was going to be on the IL. Luckily, he's all good. But, it's going to be interesting to see if he continues to struggle. And he isn't really even struggling. I'm going to get into that. He's struggling like on base wise and batting average wise. But I mean, George Lombard he's been great this year. In single A, he was in 329 with a 496 on base percentage, a 488 slug percentage. He had 13 RBIs, 11 stolen bases, and a 23-22 walk to strikeout ratio. He's and he just went 3 for 5 the other day, too, as well. 3 for 5 with 2 doubles, 2 RBIs. So that's exciting. But that'll lead me into Anthony Volpe, and then we'll talk about Aaron Judge and his ridiculous pace right now. But Volpe, I'm not – I get it. It sucks. And the Yankees lost 7-5 today. Just a quick update there. They're now 19-15. Still first place in the AL East. But Volpe I believe he was out of the lineup today. Yeah, he was out of the lineup today. They did want to give him the day off. They gave Oswald Peraza the start at shortstop today, and he didn't do bad. He went 1 for 3 today, but he's in 216 on the year, so he's not doing anything special. Aaron Judge is in 423. That's ridiculous. We're going to talk about that in a second, but Volpe is interesting because Volpe, he's had a lot of up and downs right now. He's not on the IL, so he should be back sometime this week in the starting lineup. But, I mean, we're talking about a guy. Everyone's talking about this guy struggling. I beg to differ. I think Anthony Volpe is having the best year of his career right now. I get it. A 233 batting average is not great. It's not great. But then again, his first year in the majors, he hit 209. Last year, he hit 243. He had an OPS of 666 in 2023 and OPS of 657 last year. This year, you take a look at his OPS. His OPS is at a 768. 768 OPS for Anthony Volpe. That's very good. That's a very high jump. A lot of it has to do with the home run balls. A lot of it has to do with those extra base hits. But, I mean, he's getting those extra base hits. He's hitting those home runs. He plays a great defense outside of one blunder just the other day. But the guy's got 19 RBIs. He has 5 home runs and a 768 OPS. He's got 10 doubles. He's walked 15 times in 33 games. You'd like to see that increase. But, I mean, he's swinging the bat, in my opinion, better than he's ever done before. Like, I talked about it a few weeks ago. Anthony Volpe doesn't need to hit 300. Anthony Volpe doesn't even need to hit 280. He just needs to hit. He can hit 233, actually. Like, if he does this the whole entire year, if he hits 233 with a 768 OPS, 750 plus OPS, that's going to be the best year of his career. And that would massively help the Yankees because we can't forget that he sucked the last 2 years, and the Yankees still made the playoffs. They still won their division. So if Anthony Volpe does that, that's huge. Like, everyone's talking crap about Anthony Volpe. I don't understand it. If there's anybody that you want to go after on the Yankees, there's one guy specifically, and that guy is Cody Bellinger. Cody Bellinger is hitting 200 with a 276 on-base percentage and a 364 slugging percentage. He's been terrible. Cody Bellinger is the one in that lineup who needs to get going. And if he gets going, the Yankees will really take off because Trent Grisham had another great day at the plate. He went 2 for 4, scored a run, got a walk, so we got on base 3 times. Now he's hitting 296 with a 374 on base percentage, 605 slug. Aaron Judge, another base knock today, 1 for 5. It's almost automatic that he's going to get a hit every single game. He's now hitting 423 with a 510 on base percentage and a 777 slug percentage. Paul Goldschmidt just continues to prove me wrong. He continues to prove me wrong. He had an RBI single today. He's now hitting 349 with a 397 on base percentage and 481 slugging percentage. And the home runs, only 3 home runs on the year, but 17 RBIs with a 349 batting average. That's more than respectable. More than respectable. Ben Rice kind of falling off the map a little bit as of late. He's hitting 255 now. He's only has 1 hit in his last 4 games. Overall, since April 27th, he only has 4 hits. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games. Only 4 hits in his last 7 games. He's starting to slow down a little bit. I think pitchers are starting to adjust to him. But then again, you look at his numbers overall. He's got a 915 OPS with 8 home runs. So if Ben Rice starts to crack out of it, or Cody Bellinger starts to crack out of it, the Yankees will start to do a lot better. Will Warren caught a lot of heat today. Let up 3 earned runs, 5 runs overall. 2 of them were obviously unearned, but he did have 8 strikeouts, 3 walks, but 8 strikeouts. That's a good amount of strikeouts, especially across 4.2 innings. He brought his ERA up to a 5.65. But Will Warren, I don't want to say the experiment has been bad. Not at all. You take a look at his numbers this year. Really, it's been 3 bad games. And even today, an error kind of hurt him today. That sucked. He's only let up more than 3 earned runs twice. Just twice this year, he's let up more than 3 earned runs. And that's in 7 games. 7 games. 2 times with more than 3 earned runs. I think anybody would sign up for that if we told you that at the beginning of the year. But the Yankees, it's clear. They have a need. Everybody's been saying it since Garrett Cole and Louis Hill went down. They need another starter. And they need a third baseman. And they also need Cody Bellinger to step it up. They also do need that. But, there's really nothing to kind of worry about with the Yankees. Are they the team they were last year? No. But that can change. That can change if they add a third baseman. That can change if they add another starter. So, which starter are they going to add? Which third baseman are they going to add? I have no clue. I have no freaking clue. I think trading for Nolan Arenado would make sense if he's still on the open market. Why not try to make that swing for Nolan Arenado? And I think Sandy Alcantara, that would be perfect for the Yankees. That would be perfect. Maybe they can fix him because I think they could buy low on. I think a lot of teams, the Mets could buy low on Sandy Alcantara, but the Mets don't really have that much starting pitching concerns right now, and they're going to be getting Sean Manaea back in late May or early June. So we'll see. But Yankees, nothing really to be concerned about. But before I get off, I want to talk about Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge, I'm going to say a hot take right now. And I think it's obvious. It's not even really a hot take. Without steroids, Barry Bonds is not the player Aaron Judge is. He's not. I'll say that right now. And I know a bunch of old people will probably be like, oh, well, Barry Bonds was doing so many crazy things. He had over a 500 on base percentage one year. He hit over 300. He had 73 home runs that one year. I get that. I get all of that. I'm not taking anything away from Barry Bonds. But I also have to because he did take steroids. And Aaron Judge, if he took steroids, I think he would have hit 85 home runs 2 years ago. That's how good Aaron Judge is. We're witnessing one of the all-time greats, in my opinion. Shohei Ohtani's not a better hitter. Anybody who ever said Shohei Ohtani is a better hitter than Aaron Judge is out of their freaking mind. Do you see what this guy is doing this year? He's getting on base 51% of the time, and it is May 5th. He has a 510 on base percentage at May 5th. He is hitting 423. It is May 5th. May 5th. He's in 423. He has still 11 home runs with a 432 batting average. That's unfair. 33 RBIs with the 400 plus on batting average. That's insane. A 1.312 OPS. Absolutely wild. 54 hits in 33 games. I mean, dude, like, how do you get him out? How do you get Aaron Judge out? You can't. You can't right now. And Aaron Judge is probably going to finish the year with like a 350 plus batting average. Like, that's going to happen. With the way he's swinging the ball now, he can go like 0 for his next 20 and he's still hitting above 350. Like, that's just a fact. It's insane. But yeah, that'll be it for me tonight. I'm tired. We're going to do another show tomorrow after the Mets play at 9:40. I also want to talk some Knicks, so I'll probably do a James Nolan podcast instead of just a New York double play. The Knicks, baby, going up against the Celtics tomorrow. So we got Knicks, Celtics. That's going to be fun. That's going to be fun. I don't think they're going to beat the Celtics, but if they win one of these two games in Boston, I'll buy in. Like I've been telling everybody that. I will buy in if they win one out of these two games. Yankees, they do have an off day tomorrow, so maybe they can figure something out to kind of get out of their rut that they're in. And the Mets, hopefully they can bounce out of it as well. Actually, Yankees do not have an off day tomorrow. I lied. Yankees are playing the Padres tomorrow with Carlos Rodon on the mound. Carlos Rodon has been pitching very well as of late. Rodon went 2 earned runs in 6 innings in his last start, 7 innings, no earned runs in the start before that against Cleveland. I mean, his last 3 starts, he's only allowed 2 earned runs across 19 innings. 19 innings, only 2 earned runs. Pretty good. Pretty good. He was pitching with a no-hitter the other day as well. So Rodon is going to be going up against Nick Pivetta. Nick Pivetta, who's been probably the best pitcher in baseball this year with a 1.78 ERA, 5-1 on the year, 39 strikeouts, and 35.1 innings of work. So, it's going to be a challenge for them. But then again, they got Aaron Judge and Paul Goldschmidt swinging the bat in that lineup. So, game 2 of that series, because it's going to be, I believe, a 3-game set. Yeah, 3-game set. Game 2, it's going to be Michael King, former Yankee, going up against Clark Schmidt. Clark Schmidt going to be looking to have a bounce-back start coming off the IL. Carlos Carrasco and Dylan Cease in Game 3. Dylan Cease, who's been having a tough year. Dylan Cease been having a tough year. He's let up, wow. And his last 5 starts, he's allowed 17 earned runs. Yikes. Not good for Dylan Cease. All right, but that's it for me today. Yankees should definitely be able to take 2 out of 3 against the Padres. I would say Nick Pivetta is the one that can get a win for them. And then Mets, like Kodai Senga and Griffin Cannon, I like that matchup. We're going to be facing 2 very good pitchers, Merrill Kelly and Zach Gallen. But 2 out of 3 is definitely doable for these Mets against the Diamondbacks. All right, that's it for me today. Let's go Knicks tomorrow, and let's go Mets, and let's go Yankees still. All right, I'm out of here. Deuces.